On this episode of the Red and Gold Report, I'm going to be breaking down day 3 of the NFL draft for our Kansas City Chiefs. And Chiefs Kingdom, we are now welcoming 5 rookies into the team thanks to the third day of the draft alone. Now, the third day of the draft is really important, but it's also very different from the rest of the draft. I got to be in the Chiefs draft day war room for a decade, and every year, the atmosphere really changed in the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. During the draft's first round, you could cut the tension in the war room with a knife because there's this sense that jobs are on the line. You got to get it right. Then the atmosphere in the second and third rounds, well, it stays very intense as the bigwigs try to trade up and down to nab like their guys and get great value. But then in my experience, well, those later rounds, particularly 5, 6, and 7, the atmosphere changes. The atmosphere in the war room turns lighter. And there's really 2 philosophies of how to handle these rounds, this third day of the draft when you're picking late. Often, what I saw was the philosophy, particularly in these really late rounds, of playing it safe, trying to fill roster holes, make position coaches happy with who you're picking in the later rounds. However, the philosophy on day 3 that I've always preferred is to take some big swings, some big chances on guys with a lot of talent, guys who maybe they need to change positions, or guys who have awesome measurables, awesome physical attributes, but they come from small schools or they just haven't put it together yet. I mean, instead of playing it safe, why not take a few swings on guys who, while it's not likely, while you probably will miss on most of them, at least they have a chance. At least they have the physical potential to develop into something interesting. Well, that's the philosophy that basically sums up this day 3 of the draft for the Chiefs. So I love it. I love what they did on day 3. They took big swings on guys who are very physically talented because why not? The Chiefs came on the clock for the first time on day 3 with the 30th pick in the 4th round, 135th overall, where they took cornerback Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State. Yeah, real powerhouse, right? Now, it's important to note that the NFL keeps awarding more compensatory draft picks. There were 9 in total at the end of the 3rd round, so picking 135th overall would actually usually be a 5th round draft pick, if that makes sense, even though this looks like an end of the 4th round draft pick, and it is. But it's a late pick, and I like it because why not? Why not swing for the fences on a late pick like this? And Williams is a swing for the fences type of player because of his physical attributes. This is a corner who stands 6 feet 3 inches. That's a huge corner. His 33-inch arms are in the 92nd percentile with corners. His hands are in the 82nd percentile for corners. He also has incredibly quick hips. He has a great back pedal. He's very fluid for a tall cornerback, remarkably talented, and he was a track star in high school. So you got a ton of physical talent to work with, right? And of course, this is a big position of need for the Chiefs. But he was also the only Division II player to go to the Senior Bowl this year, meaning that his level of competition was so low that when you watch him on tape, it's kind of impossible to evaluate. I mean, there's a reason that the last Fayetteville State player that was drafted before him was in 1976. And he's a really raw player with this technique. He has only played corner for 4 years, and he's going to need a ton of coaching up. He's not there yet, but he's really physically talented. So I love this pick because when you're picking 135th, why not swing for the fences, right? And hey, real quick, if you want weekly Chiefs news brought to you on the interwebs, make sure you subscribe to the Red and Gold Report channel on YouTube. Hit the little notification bell. The Chiefs were back on the clock again just 10 spots later at 145th overall. It was the second pick of the 5th round where they selected Kentucky offensive lineman Darian Kennard. And this pick is fantastic. This is one of maybe the most highly valued picks, the best value that the Chiefs got in the entire draft, because this is a player who had a grade of a 3rd rounder that the Chiefs ended up getting in the 5th round. Kennard is massive. He's a man. He's 6 feet 5 inches tall, 322 pounds, with an arm length in the 86th percentile for offensive lineman, a hand size in the 99th percentile. He also has a mentality that's nasty. He's always finishing his blocks. He's one of those guys. And he uses that size and that mentality to just bury people in the run game. That's his game. He is a run blocker. Kennard has been the best graded run blocker in college football over the last 3 seasons. Yes, you're hearing that right. We just got the best PFF run blocking graded guy in college football over the last 3 seasons in the 5th round. However, while he took 99% of his career snaps at right tackle in college, he is going to have to move inside to guard as a professional due to his major limitations that he showed as a tackle in pass protection. His slow feet, sloppy pass sets, and poor hand technique means he's just not going to be an offensive tackle as a pro. However, what you're getting here is yet another awesome swing for the fences by the Chiefs. I mean, this guy has some elite traits, elite measurables, elite run blocking ability. And if he can move inside and get coached hard on his pass protection, well, you're looking at someone who really has the potential to develop into a very good starter, but you only had to spend a 5th rounder to get him. It's a fantastic pick. Then, after having no pick in the 6th round, the Chiefs went back to cornerback, selecting Jalen Watson out of Washington State with the 22nd pick in the 7th round. He is another big swing because he's big. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall. That's huge for a cornerback. He's also very strong. He tested very strong. He looks strong on tape. So he has some unique physical traits. You're taking a big swing. Now, the reason he's going in the 7th round is he hasn't put those traits together yet. His technique, his footwork, his instincts, they're not there. So, part of that lack of development for him might be that he started at Ventura College and then he signed to play with USC, but then never played for them, then ended up at Washington State for 2020 and 2021. So the Chiefs are probably hoping that because he has these awesome physical traits, and because he kind of bounced around, maybe with some more stability, some better coaching, they could pull some real ability out of all of those traits. They can maybe get all of that physical strength and size to translate into better coverage skills for him. And again, the team is further bolstering a corner position here that was in a real state of need. Then with the 30th pick in the 7th round, the Chiefs selected Isaiah Pacheco, a running back out of Rutgers. Yet again, this is another time the Chiefs are taking a big swing on a physically gifted player in the 3rd day of the draft. Pacheco is a burner. He's a burner. He ran an official 4.3740 at the combine, which would normally belong to one of those tiny scat backs that's like 180 pounds, right? But Pacheco is a thick player weighing in at 216 pounds at the combine. That's a great size to speed combination. He has quickly moving feet. I mean, you watch him on tape, his feet, they're just all over the place. And he plays with insanely high energy. Now, he hasn't put those traits quite together yet. And here's why. When I'm watching him, I'm seeing a player that's so energetic that he becomes impatient and then he lacks vision. Then that leads to really a pretty low average per carry. When I watched him, I thought, man, a coach just needs to tell this guy, slow down just a 1/10 of a second when the ball gets in your hands. Look at a hole, see where you're going before you just run like nuts. And if he could do that, there's real talent, there's real speed there. So, hey, he's a physically talented guy. He has potential. Why not take another big swing in the 7th round instead of playing it safe? Then, with the 38th pick in the 7th round, almost at the very end of the draft, the Chiefs took another defensive back, Nazir Johnson, out of Marshall. Now, some people listed him as a corner, but I think he's going to end up playing safety. Yet again, Johnson is picked here because the team is taking another swing at big time physical traits. He's not big, he stands only 5 feet 10 inches. Instead, he's physically talented because he's fast and he is explosive. He ran a 4.35 40-yard dash that's blistering. He jumped a 42-inch vertical leap at his pro day. That's very explosive for a safety. Now, he hasn't put it together on tape yet. He really hasn't. He takes bad angles in coverage. He doesn't have great footwork. He is not the best tackler. But you know what? You can't coach speed. So why not take a guy, swing on a guy who is a burner with almost one of the last picks in the entire draft? So that's day 3 of the draft for the Chiefs. 5 just big swings at physically talented players. And hey, you know what? Why not? Sure. If you're a baseball player, if you step up to the plate and you're like, I'm going to take 5 swings at the fences, well, yeah, you're increasing the chances that you're going to miss on most of your swings. But at least you're giving yourself a chance to hit a few out of the park, right? And that's kind of like day 3 of the draft for the Chiefs. They took some big swings, so some swings on guys that they're not there yet, but they've got a lot of physical ability. Does that mean that they might miss on a few? Well, of course, but who cares? It's day 3 of the draft. Spend some of these 7th rounders on guys with a lot of talent. I like it. I like these big swings. But let me know what you think about these 5 players in the comments section below, and be looking for a full draft recap with insights about what the Chiefs have achieved overall in the draft from me soon to come. If you aren't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and go Chiefs!